Welcome aboard the Tabletop Express for a review of General Orders Sengoku Jidai. This game is brought to us first and foremost, I want to point out, by Osprey Games. This is a review copy. We do want to thank them for the opportunity to check this one out. Designed by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin. Tanner Staheli on that art, and of course, published by Osprey Games. My name is Chris, by the way. This is
And I'm
Ryan.
Ryan. Hello.
And yeah, let's talk about this game, Ryan, because we are, I think it's fair enough to say, fans, or at least we enjoyed the first one, right? I don't know where it stands on our list today, but General Orders World War II is in the collection here for us.
Yeah, we're big fans of the output of the dynamic duo that is David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin.
Yes.
Um, so whenever there's a game with both of them on it, we got to try it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we are pretty quick on the button whenever we have a chance to get one of those to the table. So let's talk about this one just from the perspective of what is this game? What are you looking at? And if you've never played this game at all, including the first one, you can
Yeah,
jump right in with this one.
yeah. Let
So
me talk about the components.
let's dig right into this one. So first and foremost, we are looking at a game that has a collection of things going on. There are cards in this game that will allow you to take actions, but it is primarily a worker placement game, with the cards being an additional way that actions are going to take place. It's one of the things that we've pointed out with this game, I think, in the first run around, but it's a game that is also once again really beautiful with the art. I really do enjoy the cards in this one.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, I talk about card quality sometimes, and these are quality there, but the art itself does grab my attention. It is gonna please your eyes when you see it on the table for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The card art is one thing, but also just how simple it looks. It very much looks like a positional kind of abstract game. You have a lot of very simple components. Uh, the nice balance of just like the nice wooden components with like some of the textures of like old parchment, going on. I really dig the overall aesthetic of it. And and it does look like an abstract game when you actually have it out on the table.
And it is an abstract game. It's one thing that we point out as you kind of look at this and you see the pieces. When you look at this game, beautiful on the table in, again, a small box. And I do want to point this out, by the way, just for people. This is something I think is important. They learned something.
Yeah, the
They
bo-
learned
the
something.
the original box and the new game, they both have roughly the same type of components, but one is a lot taller than the other. So
Yeah,
I'm glad they just went with the shorter one.
significantly. So when you talk about gameplay in this one, though, and again, it is, as we mentioned, a worker placement game. There is a way through worker placement to get cards which allow you to take actions or take these kind of immediate lightning actions, even in defense, when you
Mhm.
go into battle. But at the heart of it, it is a worker placement game where you are working on area control and taking out your opponents.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that just like with the first General Orders, how they combine worker placement mechanics with a war game. It's very much an in-your-face worker placement game, which my favorite kind of worker placement games are in-your-face because there's a lack of actions. But this is intended to be very like, haha, let me
And
do this before you do it.
yeah, and I do want to point out, I had the graphic up there earlier, I know, but it does have this kind of card that shows you the core action. So it all fits into one card. So if you have
Mhm.
a question, generally speaking, you don't have to go back to that book to kind of double check outside of maybe like little questions like, could a siege unit, as an example, attack a certain space? And what are the rules of connectivity? Because you do have connectivity rules in this game in terms of how you can move, so that keeping your units together and not allowing your opponents to break up the spots becomes a very pivotal piece in this game. But it's a very smooth process in terms of kind of, I think, understanding that. You get one of these one game in, and I think it kind of translates pretty quickly, in my opinion, at least. And I know we played the original, which is standalone, as we noted, but I still think once you've played it, you get that idea. but we mentioned this as well. This is also, I should point out, a double-sided board. So when you look at this board, on the opposite side is a different setup. So this is
Yep.
the fortress setup.
That's the more advanced one, yeah.
It's more advanced, and I really liked it. I mean, between the two, this was my favorite.
So on this board right here, what's interesting to note is even though I feel like each player is playing pretty mirrored, what's interesting is that there are 4 different areas of the board that will give you a special power, and that kind of brings in the asymmetry. However, I do feel like there are some powers that I'd much rather have over others, and I feel like some are more powerful, and I don't know. I'm not saying that's a criticism. I'm saying it's a point of fact that there's some that I feel like are more powerful than others. Um, in addition, I mean, the card play in this game, I do feel like a lot of times the cards could kind of drive your decisions. Once you pull specific cards that will give you special bonuses during siege, well, you may want to focus on doing siege actions, you know. But then there's also the crapshoot of, oh well, there's no way I could play this card, so I just wasted a turn getting this card.
But getting the cards is also a crapshoot because you can choose
Right.
to get the cards, but you're sacrificing getting reinforcing troops out on the battlefield, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
you do have to make that decision. Some of the cards are incredibly powerful, but they will require certain things. And if you don't have those things because you spent that time getting the cards, or I should say, which is a staple of this duo, getting your initiative, which sometimes is a critical thing that you
Hmm.
have to do. It's not about the card getting like the 2 or 3 cards that it might be based on that action. It is the slot to get your initiative because that
Yeah.
initiative is going to be pivotal when you're going into the next turn and you do have that good card.
Right. You
So
have 2 turns in a row, which is big.
it's huge. It's huge. It could make it could make the difference, and it did make the difference. I
I feel
felt
like that's
like
how we played every time, though, right? Where we focused on, like, okay, I should try to get this initiative so I could have
we
2 turns in a row.
I feel like, yeah, we were playing towards it a lot of the time, though at the
Yeah.
same time, it was also looking at what you did. And again, that's the back and forth of a 2-player game, which is looking at what you did and realizing, man, I don't have enough people out here in this area. I should point out you can only have 5 people, 5 troops, so to speak, of any type in any of the areas. So you are limited. So attacks, you've got to be ready to defend. Uh, can we point out before we kind of get into anything else? I think we should point out the battle system for people and our experience with the battle system
I
because
mean, the battle system is very straightforward, right? So it's one as soon as a army moves in, the defending army will roll a die and remove that number of units, and then it's just a 1-to-1.
yeah, and so that's one thing I
It's
do
clean.
like about this. It simplifies that process for anyone who's doesn't necessarily normally play this type of game. It's really easy to pick up, and it's not like to me. I feel like sometimes when anyone thinks of and I'm not sitting here calling this like a massive war game, right? But when anyone thinks about one of those types of games, they do think of, well, is it a complicated system? How does that work? And they simplified it down to I think a really nice level. It's not that much indifferent than again where we come from with General Order of World War II, but I think it works, and I think it still works well, which is why we're here with another standalone sequel in the
So
first.
that's what I want to bring up to you right now. You said it's not so much different from what we've seen in General Orders World War II. Now, how different is this game compared? And because when we played Orders World War II, it very much felt like this is not World War II. This is just an abstract kind of
Right.
game, 2-player game. This one, same thing. This is just an abstract 2-player game. I don't feel like the theme really carries out as much personally. So I think it's roughly the same. And a lot of the nuances, I feel like they're not completely novel compared to like the first one was the first one, so it was
Yeah.
brand new. And this I feel like is a little bit more of the same. You know what I mean? I don't think it's really changing much of General Orders World War II. It's not like there's something totally brand new, you know?
No, I don't think it turns the game on its head. It's a
Right.
solid iteration of 2 additional maps with some different challenges, right? But for me, I don't think it does anything major, right?
Yeah. The
I
setting
again,
is cool, and the overall aesthetic is very cool.
well, that's kind of where I'm at. I like this. I actually like this. I'll tell you right now, slightly better than the first one, just
Sure.
because in particular that more advanced map, the one with the fortress,
Hmm.
it just does a little bit more for me that I really enjoyed. Uh, but it's funny because I looked at my score for the first one, and I looked at this after I figured out my score for the second one, and they're close. Like it's extremely close, like minute difference. So enjoyed it. It didn't take a hit, but at the same time, it didn't again blow me away in something that suddenly like I saw my score go, really high from the first one.
Well, go ahead. What is that score?
Well, I will tell you, General Orders World War II was an 8.0 for me. It was an
Okay.
8.0. This was an 8.1 for me. It was I
Wow.
liked it slightly. Again, I liked the maps. I thought there was a little bit more variety. I liked the ability with the boats. I thought they uh going across waters for certain actions. And I liked that second map a lot. I could see myself playing the second map a little bit more than the first map personally, because I just thought there's a little bit more going on for me.
I feel like General Orders World War II, which I initially gave an 8, kind of staled for me. I liked it when it came out. Haven't really thought about it since. And when I am thinking about it and thinking about playing it again in comparison to with this one,
Right.
I feel like my rating has gone down for it. And the same, and so for this one, I'm giving a 7.4. And I feel like General Orders World War II is probably in that same range again too. Um,
So
and I still,
similar, even though you gave it an 8, you're saying probably if you were to grade it right now,
yeah,
it's around the same range as generally where
you
you're
know what
at.
I mean. Because I feel like when it came out, General Orders World War II, I was more intrigued in the novelty of it.
Right.
A worker placement, heavy conflict game
Yep.
that has waned away, and this one hasn't really changed much of it except for the overall presentation.
The one thing it's kept, which is probably why it stayed at its score for me,
Yeah,
is we've talked about the pubability of it.
yeah, it's still pubable, or you
It's
could
still
play it at a pub.
pubable. I can bring it, and it sounds stupid, but because it's a smaller box, and I just feel like I can pack it in and bring it to a pub a little bit and play it like I do like that. So
Yeah,
we'll see if this one holds up for me, but that second map is what did it for me. The first map I enjoyed, but the second map had some things going on that I wanted to repeat. And I had more interest in playing that second map with the fortress because there was just I felt like that advanced side was an improvement over the first general orders there.
yeah.
So but yeah, looks like our scores, even though slightly varied, we're talking about the same thing. It hasn't changed overall all that much enough for us to give a big lift over the previous one.
Right.
But again, I think when it comes down to it, if this is a game that interests you and you have any questions, please let us know in the comments. We're happy to answer any questions. But definitely a worker placement, pubable game that if you like a head-to-head two-player game, might be for you. So,
And be sure to be part of our community. And you could not just drop a comment, but you can also join our Discord, which we are posting things there constantly.
yep.
Uh, and would love to hear your thoughts about General Orders Sengoku Jidai in there as well too.
Yes. So thank you everyone for coming aboard the Tabletop Express. My name is Chris,
Hey, I'm Ryan. Bye,
and
y'all.
we'll see you on the Discord.